There is a whole category of fingerprinting that happens before your browser runs a single line of a page's code down at the level where the connection itself is negotiated. It is called TLS and HTTP fingerprinting, and it is one of the reasons a profile that looks perfect inside the browser can still get flagged. These are signals the browser cannot simply fake with a setting because they come from the network stack underneath it. Today, I want to explain defensively what TLS and HTTP fingerprinting are and why they matter more than most people realize. Quick note on framing. I run real proxy and cloud phone farms, and this network layer is where a lot of otherwise clean setups quietly fall apart. I am going to keep this third person and explanatory, how these signals work and how they are defended, not a recipe against any platform, and no undetectable promises. Understanding this layer removes one class of contradiction. It does not make anything invisible. The layer below the page starts with where this sits. Everything most people think of as a fingerprint canvas, WebGL, fonts, lives inside the page, produced by code the browser runs. But before any of that, your browser opens a secure connection to the server, and that negotiation has its own observable characteristics. This is a layer below the page, handled by the browser's networking stack and the libraries under it, and it produces a signature all on its own before the page code the antidetectbrowser controls ever gets a chance to run. Once the TLS handshake reveals when your browser starts an encrypted connection, it sends a message that lists what it supports, the encryption methods it prefers, the extensions it uses, and the order it lists them in. Different browsers and different software libraries build that message differently, in distinctive orders and combinations. So just from the opening handshake, a server can form a signature that strongly suggests what client is really connecting, real Chrome, real Firefox, or some automation library pretending to be one. This signature is often summarized as a short fingerprint of the handshake, and it is read passively before anything else. Why it is hard to fake? Here is the crux. The handshake is produced by the browser's underlying network and encryption libraries, not by the JavaScript surface an antidetectbrowser adjusts. You can set the user agent to say Chrome all day, but if the actual handshake underneath was built by a different library, the two disagree. The browser cannot simply declare a different handshake with a setting because the handshake is generated deep in the stack. Faking it requires the connection to genuinely be built the way real Chrome builds it, which is a much deeper thing than changing a reported value. The user agent contradiction. This is exactly where a lot of setups get caught. A tool sets the user agent string to claim it is a specific version of Chrome, but the TLS handshake underneath was produced by something else, an automation library or a mismatched engine. Now the visitor is claiming to be Chrome at the page level while the connection level says otherwise. And that contradiction is precisely the kind of thing detection looks for. The reported identity and the actual connection have to agree, and the connection is the harder half to control, so it is the half that betrays mismatched setups. HTTP and header patterns, the same idea extends to how requests are structured. Beyond the encryption handshake, the way a client organizes its request, the order of headers, the settings it negotiates in modern connection protocols, the structure of its messages, all vary between real browsers and other clients. A real Chrome sends headers in a characteristic order and negotiates the connection with characteristic parameters. An automation library or a mismatched stack often gets these subtly wrong. So even the plumbing of the requests themselves carries a signature. Another place the true client can leak past a faked user agent. Why real engines matter. This is why the better anti-detect browsers are built on genuine current browser engines rather than thin imitations. If the tool actually is a real Chromium underneath, its handshake and its request structure naturally match what real Chrome produces, because it is real Chrome machinery. A tool that only paints a Chrome costume over a different core will match at the page level and mismatch at the connection level. So the depth of the tool matters, and using an authentic engine is a large part of how the network layer signature ends up consistent with the claimed identity. Where the proxy interferes, now the proxy enters, and it can help or hurt here. Some proxy setups intercept and rewrap the encrypted traffic, and in doing so, they can alter the handshake the destination server actually receives. So even a browser with a perfect authentic handshake can have it changed in transit by a proxy that meddles with the connection, arriving looking like something else entirely. This is not the browser lying, it is the proxy layer rewriting the packet on the way past, and it produces the same contradiction, a connection signature that no longer matches the claimed client, matching the whole stack. Put it together, and the requirement is that the entire stack agree. The page-level fingerprint says Chrome, the TLS handshake says Chrome, the request structure says Chrome, and the proxy does not corrupt any of it in transit. Every layer telling the same story is the goal, and the network layers are the ones an antidetectbrowser cannot fix with a checkbox, so they depend on the tool genuinely being what it claims, and on a proxy that does not interfere. A mismatch anywhere in that stack is a contradiction, and contradictions are what get scored against you. It is passive and cheap. Part of what makes this layer dangerous is that reading it costs the server almost nothing and asks you nothing. The handshake and the request structure are simply observed as the connection forms with no script, no permission, no interaction. So TLS and HTTP fingerprinting runs silently on the connection itself, everywhere before the page loads. You never see it happen, and there is no prompt or hint that it occurred. It is one of the quietest signals in the whole system, and one of the hardest to notice you are failing, which is exactly why it catches careful people. How detection uses it. Detection systems use this network signature in a few ways. They check whether the handshake matches the claimed browser. They compare it against known signatures of automation libraries and flag matches. And they fold it into the same overall score as everything else, so a mismatched connection signature adds to the total that eventually trips a challenge or a block. It rarely acts alone, but as one more weak signal in a layered model, a connection that does not match the claimed client pushes the score in the wrong direction, quietly and consistently. How an operator checks it? The defensive version is that you can test this yourself. There are public services that read your connection's TLS and HTTP signature and show you what client it looks like and whether it matches the browser you claim to be. Run your antidetect profile through one with the proxy attached and confirm the connection signature is consistent with the browser identity the profile presents. If the tool claims Chrome, but the handshake test says something else, or if the proxy has altered it, you have found a contradiction before an account did. This is the network layer equivalent of running a fingerprint checker. The honest limits: be clear about what this does and does not buy you. Getting the TLS and HTTP layer consistent removes a specific and often overlooked contradiction: the mismatch between what a browser claims and how its connection actually behaves. It does not address behavior, account age, or how detection shifts over time, and it does not make anything undetectable. It is one more layer made consistent, one more contradiction removed from the pile. That is genuinely valuable, because it is a layer most people never check. But it is a piece of the picture, not the whole of it. Why it belongs on your radar? The reason to care about this at all is that it explains a frustrating experience, a profile that passes every fingerprint checker and still gets flagged. When the visible fingerprint is clean but the account still fails, the connection layer is one of the first hidden places to look, because it is invisible to the usual checks and easy to get wrong. Knowing it exists changes how you diagnose a setup that should be working but is not. And it points you at a layer the marketing rarely mentions, because it is not something a simple setting fixes. You will hear a specific term thrown around for this: a short code that summarizes the handshake into a compact fingerprint. The idea is simple. Take all the details of that opening message, the encryption methods, the extensions, their order, and boil them down to one short signature that identifies the client shape. Real Chrome of a given version produces a recognizable one, and automation libraries produce their own. Detection maintains lists of these signatures, so a connection can be matched against known clients in an instant. It is just a convenient shorthand for the handshake, but it is what makes this fingerprint fast to compare at scale. How automation libraries betray themselves? This is the layer where a lot of scraping quietly dies. Popular automation libraries build their connections with their own distinctive handshake, different from any real browser, and detection knows those signatures well. So a script can spoof every page level value perfectly and still connect with a handshake that screams automation library, not browser. The tell happened before the page loaded, at the connection, where the page level disguise has no reach. This is why serious setups drive genuine browsers rather than lightweight clients, because only a real browser produces a real browser's handshake. Mobile clients have their own signatures. Worth noting that mobile complicates this further. A real phone browser negotiates its connection differently from a desktop browser, so a profile claiming to be a mobile device should also produce a connection signature consistent with that mobile client, not a desktop one. A fingerprint that says phone at the page level, while the handshake underneath looks like a desktop library, is the same contradiction in mobile clothing. Believable mobile emulation, therefore, has to reach down to this layer too, which is one more reason genuine mobile profiles are harder to produce than swapping a few reported values. Drift at the network layer. Like every signal, this one drifts. Real browsers update, and when they do, their handshake and request patterns change, so the signature that matched real Chrome 6 months ago may now look outdated, and an outdated signature is itself a mild tell. A tool that does not keep its underlying engine current gradually falls behind the real thing it is imitating. So staying consistent at this layer is not a one-time achievement. It depends on the tool tracking real browser updates over time, and it is another reason the maturity and active development of a tool matter as much as its feature list. So TLS and HTTP fingerprinting are the signals your browser cannot fake with a checkbox produced by the connection itself, and they catch setups where the claimed identity and the actual connection disagree. The defense is a tool built on a genuine engine, a proxy that does not corrupt the handshake, and testing the connection signature yourself the way you test a fingerprint. Which browsers keep the whole stack consistent under real testing is written up, tested hands-on with proxies attached, and no undetectable promises anywhere at antidetectbrowser.org. If this explained a flag that never made sense to you, subscribe, because there is more coming on the layers underneath the ones everybody talks about. See you in the next one.